Right, next job. Coal saw, a concrete saw. So I've had to go and rent one. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to slot the driveway for our slot drain at the same time. So two things I want to talk to you guys about. One, cheap tools. The Makita equivalent of this guy is $13.50 retail. He's about $4.50. It does the exact same job. It's a different color. It'll probably break in 6 months of commercial use. The Makita one's probably good for, I don't know, 5 years as long as you surface it. But to rent a breaker for just this job would have cost me $200. So aside from the fact this one's not mine, I'm going to need one again. So I would have just bought it. The amount of time and cost to have the breaker for a second use, and then you've only spent $50 more than if you rented it. So yeah, buy cheap tools for quick jobs if they're going to come out close to what your rental cost is. I mean, concrete saw, don't buy a cheap one. That still's like a couple of grand. The blades are like $300. It cost me $200 to rent it for 2 cuts. So you know, the comparison is pretty unfathomable. Now the other thing is, when you're digging or breaking stuff, always start from an edge and work your way back in. It gives it somewhere to break off to. So break it out, clear the mess, or dig away what you need to, and clear the mess again. And you'll find this sort of thing goes really fast once you've made yourself a little pocket to get started in. So I'm just going to work through this step. I'll go up to the corner of that one. I only need a little fraction there, but the same thing. I'll break away this edge and just keep breaking away from the side. So it makes the job much easier. Alright, final tip while we're on the subject. Make sure when you finish a task with rented or borrowed gear that you're actually done. So I've got a reference point there, and a reference point out there on the grass, which is my path. I don't have a profile up at the moment for where this retaining wall is going to go. So I stand here and I look at it in a straight line. I can see that the concrete I've chipped away is behind it. And that ground level is getting filled up, so I actually don't need to worry about the height of the concrete that's still there. But I do need to make sure that all the concrete's gone from in front of that. So my retaining wall is going to be about here. So I'm miles up, get a post hole, bore it in there. There's no big bits left, I can dig them all out. So yeah, you might have seen the same thing when I had the stump grinder. I went back across, and I went back and did one of the other holes a bit more because I wasn't confident it would clear it, or that I would be able to get any last roots out with the tools I have on hand after I'd returned it. But the juggle became, I was looking at the time, and if I return the stump grinder, it saves me $120, and there's no way it's going to cost me $120 to cut through 2 roots. Likewise with this concrete saw, I've got it for another hour, so I'm going to cut the slot drain while I'm here. It's going to be a bit messy, it's alright.